Hi there, Alison here with another Cab Franc du jour. Today we are in Veneto and we're looking at the Calalta 2019 Onbrìa Cabernet Franc. The winery has been in the hands of the Brunetti family for 3 generations, and since 2017 it's been the grandson, Nicola, who's been running the estate. They have a total of 5 hectares planted, of which 0.7 is Cabernet Franc, and they're located in the Commune of Mussolente in north-central Veneto, and they are basically 70 kilometers or so northwest of Venice. And if you drew a line from Valpolicella and Suave to the west through to the hills of Conegliano, Valdobbiadene, Prosecco to the east, Mussolente is kind of right smack dab in between. They're in the foothills of Mount Grappa, which is part of the Dolomite mountain range. And the vineyard sits at around 150 meters above sea level. And Nicola tells me that the soils here are a red clay, so clay with a little higher iron oxide content, and there's a bit of flint kind of flecked through. The vines were planted in 2009, so relatively young vines, and they are farmed organically, and they do take a low interventionist approach in the cellars, so they're working with indigenous yeasts and relatively low sulfur at bottling. And this particular wine, the Onbrìa, was all vinified and aged in stainless steel. So let's give this wine a taste. Now Nicola told me that the 2019 vintage was a relatively cool vintage, and I am getting sort of the hallmarks of a cooler vintage on the nose. A lot of red fruits, sort of cranberry, a bit of raspberry. I'm getting even a bit of wild strawberry, and the pyrazines come really beautifully. There's a nice herbaceous undertone. I'm getting a little bit of tarragon almost, actually, and a bit of thyme. And there's a little sort of floral element. There's a wispy, kind of delicate kind of dance on the nose. It's quite pretty. There's a lovely perfume. And the palate is really juicy. It's got a nice liveliness. The acidity is kind of snappy and bright, but there is a great sort of juicy, fresh profile to the wine. The tannins are relatively low. This is a nice easygoing wine. There is a slight sort of satiny feel in the mouth with a little chalkiness on the finish, and that chalkiness kind of pulls everything in a little bit, which is quite nice. And the one thing that I'm getting, I didn't quite get it on the nose, is this kind of spicy undertone. It's almost like a pink peppercorn note on the palate, which is really exciting. It gives this extra dimension to the wine, which is quite lovely. I would strongly recommend something like this with a charcuterie board. That would be amazing. But it's just a delicious introduction to sort of Northern Italian Cabernet Francs. If anyone has any recommendations for Italian Cabernet Francs, please hit me up in the comments below. And I'll be sure to, this is a relatively small production wine, so I'll be sure to kind of do a little research and sort of link up some importers and distributors that are carrying this so that you can find this at a shop near you. And of course, as always, thank you for watching, and I will be back again soon with another wine. Cheers.